This is Art and Such with part 2 of my Rainbow Loom tutorial for April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In part 1 we finished with our body ready on the loom, all set for looping. You have your legs at the bottom, your arms, your shoulder pads. We have extensions on the side and some cap bands. Just double check you have all of those, and then we can start looping right up the center. We're going to stop at the third peg from the top because we'll need to be moving those sideways. Watch out for tension, stay behind your cap bands when they come up. And we're just going to pause this here for now and start on our sides. So get under the last of your leg bands, pull up your 2 yellows, pull back your caps with your hook, and grab your next 2 yellows. And we'll do this all the way to this third peg from the top again. Just be very careful, you're only getting the bands that we need. On the other side, get under your caps, bring your yellows up. Turn it to the side if you need to. Alright, when all of your bands are looped up to your third pegs from the top, we're going to go under the center one and bring the top 2 skin tone bands to the side that they came from. And this is going to be a little bit loose here, so at this point you want to continue looping up the side just to secure these. Excuse me. Next 2 yellows, push it down, get underneath. This is where it gets tricky, but you need to find just those bottom 2. Very carefully wriggle them out, bring them to the top. We're going to take our next 2, bring those to the top, or sorry, to the side second peg. Make sure they're going on in order here. Push it down a little bit. We'll keep looping that side to secure those in place. And we'll go right up to the middle, so get underneath all those bands. Jiggle your bottom 2 loose if you need to. Underneath, very carefully get those 2, bring them to the center. You have a lot of tension here, so be very careful. You're going to take your last 2 center skin tone bands and bring them up to that second peg. And reach underneath, get your 2 neck bands, and bring those up to the top. One, and I'm going to pull these out a little bit to see them better. Push back with your hook, there we go. Very carefully, using your hook, you can put your hand on top to secure those top 2. And very carefully, you're ready to remove your body from the loom. And we can put our hook through the neck pieces. We'll straighten this out a little bit after, and perhaps, well, I remember now, we'll do our belt, which is just a white band going over, up over the legs and doubled onto itself. You can wrap it a couple of times if you want it to be a little tighter. We're ready for our head and our face. You're going to take your hair color, whatever that might be, and go from your top peg on the center to your top peg on the side. Go down the other direction, top to top. And we're going to go down twice on either side with sets of 2 hair colored bands. One more time in the middle, from the top peg in the center to the second peg in the center. And then we need 2 sets of skin tone bands coming down the middle. 1 and 2. We'll meet these up. I'm going to try and find bands that are a little less stretchy here, so we don't want a loose chin. And when we're set for the other side, these are going from your 4th pegs on the center to your 3rd pegs on the side. We're going to add eyes. As I mentioned before, I will be using green for mine. And if you're using beads, you can use beads and dental floss to bring them on. For the bands, I'm going to wrap my green 3 or 4 times onto my hook. And another green for the other eye 3 times. I'll put this onto a skin tone band. So end of the hook, bring your green on top. And this is going to be going onto your second side pegs from the top. Stretch it across, leave a little space because we're going to get our hook in between, and separate the eyes a little, like so. You're going to put your body on, and we want to make sure that the front is in the front. I'm going to actually pull these skin tone bands a little closer to the center so they're out of the way. And get under it on this side. Depending on whether you got your skin tones under your shoulder caps or not, they might be a little more visible. But we can take care of that. We're going to put this onto the 4th peg in the center now. And stretch this down a little so it's out of the way. We loop up from the 4th peg back to the 3rd peg on the side and come up sideways the other direction. So next 2 bands should be coming back to the left, my left. And finally 2 going up the center here. We'll finish up the center, staying under that eye cap band. Go right to the top. And before we do our sides, I'll just show you how to make the hair extensions if you want this little bit extra. So for that, you'll take a single, wrap it once or twice onto your hook, put it onto a pair of hair color bands, and we'll replace that back on the 3rd peg right next to the chin there. If you want it to be a little bit longer, all you need to do is add another set to that chain. So we'll repeat for the other side. 2 wraps onto 2 browns. And bring this on top. 3rd peg. And we can finish looping up the sides and pull it all together here. So underneath, and bring the browns up. Under the eye, bring your browns up. Have those meet back in the center. And from the other direction, same thing. Get all your browns upwards, back to where they came from. Let's turn this around. This is a bit of an awkward angle to work at here. Okay, there we go. You'll need 1 more hair colored band to pull through your 1st peg opening. Get under those bands. Grab your hair colored band, bring it up, put it on your hook, and bring the bottom one over the other to create a slip knot. We're ready to remove this, and we just need to check, make sure everything's on the right side before we start securing anything. Alright, so I think my chest is a little nicer on this side, and my hair is in the right place. If you see skin tone bands in front of it, you can pull those out of the way and bring your brown bands through. Our shoulder pads are pretty nice and even, but you're welcome to adjust them as you see fit. And we are ready to tuck in our securing band by pulling it through a couple of bands in the back. Just grab it with the end of your hook, yank it through, and you can sort of weave it in there a little bit. Throw in a C-clip, stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms, and you have your April. Thank you so much for watching.